Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Xavier Rossinyol, CEO of Dufry. We're moving on to some different topics now touching on the Autogrill integration. I know there's a number of approvals still left and some sort of I's to be dotted, etc., etc. But obviously a huge news announcement for the entire industry, and all eyes are on Dufry at the moment, trying to see what things will look like in the coming years. Can you give us a little bit of a preview?
No, as you said, we signed an agreement to acquire a little bit more than 50% of Autogrill. The idea is to merge the two companies. Mm-hmm. As a result, the Benetton family will become the largest shareholder of Dufry. Yes, it's subject to antitrust, so I'm told by the lawyers I need to make clear that it's on the antitrust authorities to approve or not the deal. If they decide to approve, as we expect and hope, we should be closing the deal at the beginning of next year. Mm-hmm. So we will be operating as one single group as of quarter one or quarter two 2023. The main reason to do this combination is not financial. Mm-hmm. Of course, there are financial advantages for all the shareholders. There are synergies to be generated, but it's the business rationale. Mm-hmm. In the moment you decide, as we did it in the new strategy, to put the traveler at the center of what we do, automatically you need to be able to offer to them whatever they need or they want. Mm-hmm. And for us, it's core categories of duty-free, convenience store, branded stores, but also F&B. Mm-hmm. And we believe that in the future, everything is going to be about experience, mm-hmm. about having fun when you travel. And that's not the easiest thing. Hopefully in our stores and in our restaurants, you're going to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. That's why we believe that combining the capabilities of the two companies, we can create not only interesting new concepts, but even a completely new category. Mm-hmm. We are really convinced that the combination will be a key element to this travel experience revolution that we want to see over the next few years.
Mm-hmm. As I said, all eyes are on Dufry to see how that it comes to fruition and what that means in practice. So yes, we'll be coming back to regular intervals in order to find out more about how this journey is progressing. Moving on to Dufry and its sustainability commitments and its ambitions going forward. I know there is a strong strategy going forward in terms of ESG and CSR, and that includes things all the way up to diversity and inclusion, not just obviously our environmental topics. So again, how important are these topics to Dufry going forward and as part of its destination 2027?
When I rejoined Dufry after 7 years being outside the industry, I was very positively surprised of the high engagement and the high commitment on ESG by the company. But not only that, in the new strategy, we decided that ESG could not be something additional to the day-to-day business. Mm-hmm. It has to be part of the day-to-day. So what we want is to make it much more tangible. Mm-hmm. For the communities where we are. We will be, after the combination with Autogrill, in 350 airports in 75 countries. This is a lot of people that are influenced for what we do in our day-to-day. It has to be relevant for the communities. It has to be relevant for the employees. It has to be done together with the entire industry. Mm. And our brands, the brands we bring to our shops, are doing amazing things. Mm. So the first thing, it has to be tangible. It has to be on the day-to-day. Second, has to be quantified. If it's not quantified, it doesn't become real. Mm. And not only doing the right thing is good in itself, but it brings a lot of value. Mm-hmm. There is a new generation of people that will not join a company that has not clear purpose and clear commitments beyond the profitability of the company. that is environment, but it's also communities, because sometimes we talk about big commitments, very theoretical commitments, and not things that have an effect today and tomorrow, not 3 years from now, today and tomorrow. Diversity and inclusion is a must. And you see, I don't want to work on that, and we have, don't get me wrong, not a bit, massive work to do on it. But we don't have to do it because somebody tell us we have to do it or because it's fashionable. It's the only way to be business successful. We are a global company, 75 countries. If we don't have our workforce and our management reflecting the full complexity of the world, we are not going to be successful, because we are not going to understand the world. So we are not doing it because it's nice or it's fashionable. We are doing it because we see it as the only way to be successful long term.
Absolutely. Arguably, travel retail has more pressure put upon it for those very reasons, because they have a global audience.
Absolutely.
So yes, it's a good pressure, I would say, on the travel retail industry as a whole. I'd love to talk for hours, but I think we don't want to waste your valuable time, of course. But I would just like to ask you a question on China. And you made some comments in the most recent results call about the Chinese market and how it is important to a lot of people in the travel retail industry, but the reluctance of the Chinese to introduce international operators to directly operate duty-free stores is something which is obviously a great barrier to many in this industry, players including yourself, and we don't know when that's going to change. But that aside, without being able to directly operate duty-free stores, I mean, you have a dedicated strategy to Asia Pacific. We heard that in the results call. How is that going to meaningfully push Dufry forward in this region?
I mean, Asia Pacific for us is where we have the lowest market share, and automatically means where we have the biggest opportunity. I have to be very clear. Dedicated strategy for Asia Pacific, it doesn't mean we don't care about the rest of the world. I have a massive group of employees. We also have a dedicated strategy for North America and for the rest of the world, Latin America, Africa, Middle East, Europe. Said that, we think Asia Pacific, because of their volume, of the number of passengers, of being house of some of the highest spenders, is an absolute need to focus on that market. We have to be respectful with local legislation, local regulations. Every country decides. I'm convinced that opening up the travel retail market in mainland China would be a massive benefit for the Chinese travelers, and the Chinese economy, but it's not my decision. Meanwhile, it's going to happen. I'm unable to say if it's going to happen soon or later, but it's going to happen. Meanwhile, Chinese will go back to travel. And I think we have to try to be our best travel experience possible when Chinese are, anywhere where they are. So if we cannot enter China, we will enter maybe other markets that are relevant for the Chinese. There are also so many other growing opportunities around the world. We cannot be, as many European companies we are, is too Eurocentric. The world is very, but not everything starts and finishes in China, India, many other Southeast countries. Africa is going to double the population. So I think the world is such an immense and interesting place. But definitely, if we will have any influence, we will encourage the Chinese authorities to open the market. Will happen sometime. Not no one.
I'm sure that some of your peers would argue that very strongly as well, that same sentiment. Well, it's been fantastic talking to you, and so thank you so much for joining me here and talking to our viewers, our TRBusiness viewers, and we'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Absolutely, and thank you for your interest. It's highly appreciated. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.